this started. The regularly scheduled meeting of the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission is being held in the Commissioners' Meeting Room in Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Room 250, Cortez, Colorado. We're going to open with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Don, can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Saunders,
Here.
Commissioner Neergaard,
Here.
Commissioner Lynch,
Here.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Here.
Commissioner Doyle.
Here.
Also present are Don Haley and Jane Duncan, County Planning Department. Please turn off your cell phones during the meeting. Important calls may be taken outside of the meeting room. Commissioners, have you reviewed the planning and zoning minutes of May 19th?
Yes.
And if so, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the planning and zoning minutes for May 9th, 2024.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Aye.
Commissioner Saunders,
Abstain.
Commissioner Neergaard,
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch,
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle.
Abstain.
Okay, no discussion. Motion carried. And the vote was 3 to 2. Excuse me, 3 to 2.
4 to 2.
1, 2, 4. I'm sorry. 4 to 2.
Actually 4 to 0 and 2 abstentions.
Again?
It would actually be 4 to 0 with 2 abstentions.
Oh, that's right. They were abstentions. You're right. 4 to 0, 2 abstentions. The Montezuma Planning Commission welcomes you to this meeting. This board is comprised of members who are tasked to make recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners. We are not the decision makers. We encourage public comment after each permit. Persons speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced at the discretion of the Planning Commission to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address their thoughts and concerns. When addressing the commission, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individual applicants are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. I will not be voting tonight. Okay, roll call please, Don.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yep.
Commissioner Saunders,
Here.
Commissioner Neergaard,
Here.
Commissioner Lynch,
Here.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Here.
Commissioner Doyle.
Here.
Okay, first one. Notice is hereby given. The Montezuma County Planning Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding of a proposed two-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3 to 9 rezoning application submitted by David Kimble and Falena Hunter on property located to be determined Road H, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 14.72 acres, more or less, located south of Road H, east of Road 25, situated in Section 2, Township 35 North, Range 16 West of the New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir.
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes, sir.
Was the sign posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the applicant, please come forward. Oh, yeah, sit, please sit, yeah. Okay, great. Can we have planning department findings, please?
Yes, this is David Kimble's son-in-law, Keeper. He is sitting in for David because he is detained elsewhere. David is proposing to create a two-lot moderate subdivision consisting of one 3-acre parcel for his daughter and one 11.72 acre parcel, which will remain vacant. He does not have any plans to put anything on there for the foreseeable future. Access is off of Road H. They are currently in the process of getting a driveway because they are putting a house on there right now. That has been approved. They also are in the process of getting the septic system put in. And the electricity and all the other infrastructure is currently right there at Road H, so it has no problem of getting it to it. All the infrastructure companies have said that it is available and there is no problems with that.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion, commissioners, on this?
I have a question. How are you gonna access the 11 acres?
11 acres?
Yeah.
There's a plan, right now, we could go around the access of our house, so take that big driveway and
Okay, so you haven't plotted a driveway easement or anything for that acreage?
I believe David is working on one, possibly on the east side of that 3 acres.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to say, with talking with David, he has stated that he is proposing to put the easement for the 11 acres on the east boundary line of the property to go all the way down to access the larger piece.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was a municipal review by Cortez. Did we get anything from them?
No.
And then another question, the current zoning is AR 10 to 34, requested zoning AR 3 to 9, that's on the small piece.
The only lot that will be rezoned will be the 3-acre lot. The other lot will remain the AR 10 to 34.
Yeah, okay, good.
Anything else? Okay, anyone from the public wishing to comment on this project, on this application? Okay, seeing none, we're going to return it back to the commissioners.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve a proposed two-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3 to 9 rezoning application submitted by David Kimble and Falena Hunter based on the following. The proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses with the uses consistent with the proposed zoning. And I have no conditions.
I'll second.
Okay, I think on the condition, though, we should make sure that there is going to be an easement granted to that 11 acres, right? Okay. Okay. Can we have a call for the vote then, Don?
Commissioner Saunders,
Aye.
Commissioner Neergard,
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch,
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carried. It was unanimous with a 5 voting. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with David.
Okay, moving forward, roll call, please.
Number 2,
Here?
Commissioner Hernandez,
Here. Sorry.
Commissioner Saunders,
Here.
Commissioner Neergard,
Here.
Commissioner Lynch,
Here.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Here.
Commissioner Doyle.
Here.
Okay, number 2. Notice is hereby given, the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding a proposed subdivision amendment and AR 3 to 9 rezoning application to lots 3 and 4 of the Lost Canyon Estates Subdivision, submitted by Chris Robertson and Joanie Allencastre, Agent BillStanley, on properties located at 375 and to be determined Road S.6, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 0.32 acres more or less and 0.56 acres more or less, located east of Highway 184, south of Road S.6, situated Section 22, Township 37 North, Range 15 west of the New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir?
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes, sir?
Was a sign posted?
Yes, sir?
Okay, can we have the applicant come down? Okay, can we have planning department findings, please?
Sure. The applicants are proposing to combine lots 3 and 4 of the Lost Canyon Estates major subdivision, resulting in one larger lot. The main extension ditch, pipeline, and easement consumes a great portion of lot 4, creating issues for building sites. This subdivision also has in their covenants a restriction of only one home per lot. So this will restrict the lot owners into just having a home on lot 3 when they get it combined. But it wouldn't really affect lot 4 because it's not buildable. There is a house already on lot 3, so the infrastructures are already in place. And that's basically it. We're just combining the 2 lots.
Okay, commissioners, discussion? Questions?
I have a question. the current zoning is ARES, and the requested zoning is AR 3 to 9, but it's less than 3 acres, so I'm wondering.
That is the lowest that we have, so it has to be 3 to 9.
So when I was looking at ARES in section 3310, it's existing subdivisions, and under uses by right, 3310.3, it says, any documented actual use existing on July 20th, 1998, and continuing to date of termination of said use by property owner. And so I'm wondering, the use has not changed, so why would the zoning change? It should, I'm thinking it should still be ES, even though it's slightly larger. It seems to me like that's the only zoning option that would fit this
Don can answer
acreage.
that a lot better than I could.
Well, it's an existing subdivision lot, but it's being changed, so it has to be updated to meet the code as it currently stands. So it'll have a new legal description. It won't be Lot 3 of the Lost Canyon Estates, I think it is subdivision. It will be redefined.
As a new lot of the same division,
Right.
subdivision.
And I don't know how the surveyors actually will do it. It might be Lot 3A
3A.
Yeah.
or 4A, probably Lot 3A since the residence sits on Lot 3 currently.
So it'll have an AR zoning within the subdivision. And
Correct.
no one else will. It'll
Right.
be ES. Okay.
Which is typical when an existing subdivision lot subdivides as well.
Okay. And this is just going to be for a big front yard, right? Somebody's got to mow it. Somebody's got to mow it. Any other questions?
I wanted to make note of apparently an error in the address.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 76 and says 75.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, no further discussion. Any public comment on this application? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that and back to the commissioners for a recommendation.
I can make a motion
Okay.
to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve a proposed subdivision amendment and AR 3 to 9 rezoning application to lots 3 and 4 of the Lost Canyon Estates Subdivision submitted by Chris Robertson Joanie Allencastre, agent BillStanley, based on the following. The proposed use is in conformity with code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning. And I have no conditions.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Jason? Okay, we have a motion and a second. No other discussion. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Saunders?
Aye.
Commissioner Nergard?
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch?
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. It was unanimous for all those voting. Thank you. Good luck, guys. Okay, roll call, please. Don?
Commissioner Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Saunders?
Here.
Commissioner Nergard?
Here.
Commissioner Lynch?
Here.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Here.
Commissioner Doyle?
Here. Okay, number 3. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public
Possible to
hearing.
unmute
I'm sorry.
the call-in, please?
Is that on the Zoom?
Oh, that's who somebody was speaking. Okay.
He's been muted.
Yeah, it's unmuted.
Go ahead, John.
Okay, sorry, all right. Let's start again. Notice is hereby
Thank you.
given. The Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding a proposed high-impact permit application submitted by Montezuma Water Company agent Steve Bauman on property located at 27666 Road T, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 12.17 acres, more or less, located south of Road T, west of Highway 145, situated in Section 19, Township 37 North, Range 15 West of the New Mexico Prime Meridian. It says a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir.
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes, sir.
Was a sign posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the applicant is on there, okay.
Yep.
And this is Travis Ramos.
I'm not Steve Bowman.
Okay, Steve, all right, thanks.
He's represents the engineering firm.
Okay. Okay, Planning Department findings, please, Jane.
Sure. Montezuma Water Company intends to build a 2 million gallon per day upgrade to their already existing 4 million gallon per day water treatment plant. All the infrastructure is already there. This is just increasing the volume due to the increased need for the water in Montezuma County.
Okay. Anything else to add to that? Pretty cut and dry.
Pretty cut and dry. Y'all saw a variance for this not too long ago. So this is a high-impact permit for it.
Okay, okay. Commissioners, questions, discussion? I have one. Being, it looks like your proposed treatment plant facility is going to be on the south property, and I believe that's where the commissioners gave a variance, correct, Don, for that?
It's actually on the east side,
Oh, it's on the east.
so the addition will be to the existing
Oh, there's
plant.
north, there's north, yeah.
North is to the right.
North is always up. Being it's that close to the property line, my only concern is going to be noise and dust to the neighbors directly to the east. You're going to be able to mitigate that with water for the dust control during construction?
Yes, the contractor put together a erosion and dust mitigation plan for us.
Okay,
There's a plan for that.
okay. Hours of construction are going to be normal?
Typically Monday through Thursday, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
7 to 5.
But occasional work on Fridays, occasional work on weekends every now and then.
Okay. That was my only questions.
The adjacent property is,
I'm sorry?
adjacent property is not a residence.
It's not a residence? Okay.
No.
Do you know what it is?
A business, some sort of log home,
Oh, okay,
small operation.
okay. Well, he may not be affected by noise, but he will be by dust, so as long as it's mitigated, we're okay. We're going to open it up for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this application? Okay, seeing none, we'll go back to the commissioners.
And the reason for the high impact permit is because it was never given one, and because it's a utility company, it requires one.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve a proposed high-impact permit application submitted by Montezuma Water Company, agent Steve Bowman, based on the following. The proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other properties in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support use consistent with the proposed zoning.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second with no conditions. No further discussion. We'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Saunders,
Aye.
Commissioner Neergard,
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch,
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carried. It was unanimous for those voting. Thank you. Okay, carrying on, can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Hernandez,
Here.
Commissioner Saunders,
Here.
Commissioner Neergard,
Here.
Commissioner Lynch,
Here.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Here.
Commissioner Doyle.
Here. Okay, number 5.
Number 4.
4, where's 4? Did I mess up? I did, I messed up. Sorry, number 4. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Planning Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding a proposed subdivision amendment application to Lot 1 of the Ireland subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning submitted by Braden Jones on property located at 38511 Road H, Mancus, consisting of 20.41 acres more or less, located east of Highway 160, north of Road H, situated in Section 36, Township 36 North, Range 14 West of the New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir.
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes, sir.
Was the sign posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, will we have the applicants come on down? Okay. Okay, planning findings, please.
The applicant proposes to divide his property into one 4.2 acre parcel and one 16.21 acre parcel. The 16.21 acre parcel will remain residential and agricultural in use. The land for the 4.2 acre parcel will be used exclusively for farming by the Four Corners Food Co-op, which is a Native American-run nonprofit. This subdivision amendment will result in a 3-lot moderate subdivision. The access will be off of Road H. The property already has a septic system on it for the existing house, and any new septic system would need to be designed by a licensed engineer and permitted through the Public Health Department. The infrastructures are already in place along Road H. We do have a letter from Mancus Rural Water Company stating that Mr. Jones has been approved for water at the proposed lot and is currently on the waiting list for meter installation as soon as this permitting process is completed.
Okay. You have anything to add to that, Mr. Jones? No? Okay. Commissioners, discussion?
Yes. On page 1 of the application, it looks like the zoning is incorrect. The current zoning just says residential agriculture. It usually has an acreage beside it. And for this one, I believe it's supposed to be AR 10 to 34.
Yes, it is.
And then the requested zoning has the same problem, and it should be AR 3 to 9, I believe, correct?
Yes.
So I believe those corrections need to be made to the application at some point.
It will be made between before the Board of County Commissioners sees it.
And You said, Jane, this was a 3-lot?
The amendment will make it a 3-lot moderate,
Where am I?
because it already has 2 lots.
I see 2. Where am I missing
Do
3?
you remember this?
Oh, this, the,
They just subdivided the other lot off of there,
what, that's,
That
a
one-
couple months ago.
Before, a few months back.
okay.
So at the point that the other subdivision lot was created, until Mancos Rural Water installed that tap, they couldn't give any flows or pressure readings. So once that was installed, they ran their tests. I don't know why they couldn't run them before, but they didn't. So then they issued an acceptable tap for that location for water and pressure.
On the part that's not a part of it,
Right,
shall we say.
so this was proposed before, but because of the water tap issue, it was amended previously to get approved as a 2-lot minor, and now it would be a 3-lot moderate because the lots don't average 10 acres apiece.
So is this 4 acres going to be used for agriculture, is what you're saying?
Correct.
And you're going to use Mancos Rural Water for agriculture? What's the need for the tap there?
The county requires it.
The irrigation water will be used for the agricultural. It has irrigation water.
Correct, yeah, so irrigation water will be included in the sale, but domestic water service was required according to the county bylaws, and that's why we're looking at this process.
I've got a question. If this is going to be for growing of crops, if we say, there's going to be no structure there to sell to the public? Everything will be located and sold elsewhere?
It'll be going
Until
to the
they want a
farmer's market.
structure and a wash station.
That's again?
Until they put in a structure and a wash station and a bathroom when they're farming, and
Well,
then
then-
it's, can be a residence. So we don't cover it just for today, we cover it for when it gets sold next year or the year after.
When it gets built.
And somebody puts a house on there.
But if it's going to be a residence and growing of crops for sale, it's not commercial?
That's agriculture.
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 It's agriculture.
Okay. So the water tap is planned for a structure sooner or later?
No.
No,
It's not planned for it, but it's required.
the subdivision.
Because the valley has limited resource, if you don't procure that resource now, then it's not guaranteed in the future.
But then down the road, it could be changed
Could be.
back to a lot, a 4-lot with a home on it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Looking-
it'll be
looking
zoned
at-
AR,
Yeah, looking in
so
advance.
you can
okay.
use it for both,
Okay.
or either one.
Okay. So as long as we meet those requirements, then the secondary use of today being agricultural growing of crops fits.
Perfectly
Fits.
acceptable.
Okay, I get it, I get it. Okay, anyone else, commissioners? Okay, we're gonna open this to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak for or against, please come forward. Okay.
I have a couple of comments.
Name and address, please.
Travis Measles, 38808 Road H. Just across the county road there from Mr. Braden. Who, I must say, is in quite a hurry to chop up this land. As a planning commission, what is the planning that's done? I would just question for the long term. Is it just rubber stamp, as long as it follows the criteria, you can just?
So we don't direct or guide planning. It's whatever landowners bring as applications. If they meet the land use code and it fits within the area, then it doesn't have an adverse impact to the area.
What would be considered adverse impact?
That's a subjective question.
Yeah.
Well, there's limited water and there's limited land, so.
So the
those are
land's
part of the
there, and he's
criteria,
got the
but-
water tap, and he's got the irrigation water, and most of the lots around there are subdivision lots.
But I don't understand the criteria of enough.
There's no limit of enough. Depends on what is there, and what fits and what doesn't fit.
It has to go by the land use code requirements.
Can I have a point here? If you have something to say, please just say that and we'll discuss it later. I mean,
Okay,
after
fair
we
enough.
finish. Thank you.
Braden moved into our neighborhood, didn't make any friends right away, and has done everything he can possibly do to subdivide and sell off that land to the detriment of the views and the water of his neighbors. So I would recommend that for the long-term continuity of our communities around here, that we start looking at planning in the long term to not alter the culture of this community based on just there's enough. Because there's not going to be enough if everybody keeps using what there is. We know our watersheds are, we just so we have to put in more holding tanks just to try and keep the water we already got. I must say, it was refreshing to come in here and see land being put back together for once, because the only thing we see is land being taken apart. Now, I've been here 40 years. That's not much, because that's all I've got. But the only thing I've seen is land being taken apart. Ever. Except for tonight was the exception. And, I mean, that was kind of a no-brainer. So I'd just appreciate if the planning commission could plan for longer than next year. Because next year, Braden will be subdividing again.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I'm reading a comment for a neighbor across the street that will be in direct view of whatever warehousing facilities are put up on this property. The person's name that I'm reading for is Wesley Rivera. She is located at 38626 Road H. And I'm going to start with this in quotations. And this is what Wesley Rivera has to say. Here we are again. I asked last March 5th meeting regarding the claim that Mr. Ireland's pleading that they had no further plans to subdivide the remaining land. Now we receive an email from M. Carlos Baca similarly stating, in quotes, "We have zero plans of creating residential spaces," end quote. This does nothing to reassure the neighborhood, as one thing is said while another is done. What events are Mr. Baca referring to? Weddings, birthdays, a hoedown, hay rides, a parking lot, a pumpkin patch? He refers to his plans as, quote, farming only, end quote, yet mentions events. Again, if approved by the planning, we will be subjected to increase in traffic, more drain on the limited water supply, our peace being disturbed by Mr. Baca's clients' examples, getting lost or using our private driveway as a turnaround as the infrastructure is not there. In closing, I wish Mr. Jones would have put more forethought into purchasing rural land, since he seems intent on developing it as quickly as possible without regard for the culture of the neighborhood. Maybe purchasing a house in town would have been more appropriate for his needs, end quote. My name is Danette Dillon. I live at 38808 Road H in the same neighborhood. And some of the things that I think the neighbors are mostly concerned about, I will ask that I have my allotted time, please. But I'll use the rest of Wesley's. What we're mostly concerned about.
It's 3 minutes, no matter what you comment on.
I'm commenting for two people.
Sure, your 3 minutes.
Okay, we're mostly concerned about light pollution, also unsightly structures. Also, we are on a 2-inch water pipe, which is one of the smallest water servicing pipes in the valley. I'm quite surprised that they approved that water tap because they said they weren't going to approve any more. I also have here where they made this request with planning and zoning. It went to the commissioners for their previous request to subdivide, and it said no further plans to subdivide at this time. So we knew at that point it was untrue because we knew that they were going to subdivide, but they put it in there anyway. And here we are subdividing today. So that's what most of us are concerned about.
Thank you.
Appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just to clarify what I meant by events. So the Four Corners Food Coalition of itself, this property would be specifically agricultural. We're working kind of in partnership with the Old Fort, with their farmer's apprenticeship. So we'll have some zoning in there and, you know, some plots for folks to grow coming out of the school. And so when I speak of events, this is all I'm talking about. You know, it's a real small little circumstance. There's not going to be some massive parties or weddings or anything like that. It's just, there might be some college students doing a tour. You know, it's nothing that threatens anything, so I just wanted to put that in there.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to close this public comment and bring it back to the commissioners for discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I have a question. You know, we hear in the public comment that apparently we approved a division of this property, what, 13 months ago or 16 months ago? Is that about right? 3 months ago. And where it said no further plans are present. Well, obviously that can't be right. I mean, I really find that not a good thing. I feel like we would probably lie.
Public comment is over, please. No.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, they had proposed a larger subdivision originally, and the water tap issue was the issue, so they could only subdivide with what was able to be procured. And like I said, once Montezuma or Mancos Rural Water figured out what they had for water and what they could supply for water, then he's amending that to come back and create that other lot that was intended.
So Mancos Rural Water told them that there was no more taps available. And that
Right.
They wouldn't have any more taps.
And but what'd the application say? Nothing planned?
At
It
this
was.
time.
At the time, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't because he couldn't do it because he didn't have the.
No
water taps.
application was being made then, but I would say the plan was there.
Well, the
To me, I
original
mean,
plan
I don't
was.
mean
the
semantics,
original
but it
plan-
seems to me the plan is there.
The original plan this man had was to do 4 lots. The county
There you go.
denied him because he didn't have the water taps. So he came back and did the 2 because he had the water taps. Does that make sense?
The intention all along was to have 4.
The intention was 4, but he was told he couldn't do it. He was denied.
Sorry?
What are we debating?
What are we,
What was my intention in the past?
Yeah, what was your intention? What was your intention when you purchased the property? What's your intention 3 months ago?
Well, we couldn't subdivide because we didn't have a tap and there was no timeline given to us for when that would happen.
That doesn't address what your intention was.
Is that relevant to this discussion?
Only in response to me it is.
What, yeah, like I said, if there was a semantic issue, I don't know, I wasn't at that meeting, but, there was always an intention to sell this land to Carlos once I obtained the water tap.
To make this a 4-lot subdivision.
3.
3 lots, 3 lot, no, before.
The Well, the fourth lot is gonna be behind the lot to the east, and that's actually not gonna be an issue, because what the plan for that is, just so you guys are all aware, we intend, or Eric intends to perhaps purchase that remaining lot there, and that would be a boundary adjustment, not a re-subdivision, additional lot.
Okay. Okay. Further discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I will make, if I can find it, a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve a proposed subdivision amendment application to Lot 1 of the Ireland subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning submitted by Braden Jones based on the following. The proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area. The public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning. I don't have conditions.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Saunders?
Aye.
Commissioner Neergard?
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch?
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle?
No.
Okay, the motion carried. The vote was 4-1. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay.
Mr. Jones, before.
Okay, moving forward, number 5 now. This is continued from May 9th. Notice is hereby given the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding a proposed 2-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Barbara Benavides, Leanne Singland, and Kenneth Gallegos on property located at 14852 Road 29, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 11.84 acres more or less, located south of Road 29, west of Road 29.75, situated in Section 33, Township 37 North, Range 15 west of the New Mexico Prime Meridian. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Yes, sir.
Was evidence of letters to the adjoining neighbors and mineral owners submitted?
Yes, sir.
Was the sign posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, oh, the applicant's here. Can we have department findings, please?
Sure. The applicants are proposing to divide the property into 2 lots, creating a moderate subdivision. One lot will be 3.04 acres more or less, and the remaining will be 8.8 acres more or less. And this is to, in order to make this property compliant with the land use code. On January 23 of 2024, the BOCC approved an exemption amendment to make it into 2 properties, make it the property into a bigger piece, actually, contingent upon completing a subdivision application for the non-compliance of having 3 houses on the property.
Okay. This is not what we received.
Yeah, it's
We received
different.
something totally different.
Well, this one came in after the application packet was sent out. This was sent by the surveyor. Yes, we got it today, actually. Yeah, so this is the diagram that is in the packet that you received was how the applicants were proposing to do it to begin with. But this is what they have come up with the surveyor that was given to us today.
So that's 3.04 acres here on the left?
Yes. In order to meet the land use code setbacks, it had to be done this way.
Because this way we're too close to all the houses.
So this changes the application then, Don, doesn't it?
No, it does not.
Does not.
No, they planned on splitting that piece into 2
Anyway.
and separating the houses originally.
Okay.
The acreages are consistent with what was in the application.
So we're not in any violation with the
No,
application
we
to
are
the
not.
public? Okay. Well, I'm going to have to digest this one a little bit further. So we're going to have, there's two separate properties right now.
No. it's only
I mean, there's going to be 2 separate properties, but both will have a residence, existing residence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we put that in years ago before any of that came through, and so we're just trying to get everything straightened out.
One new lot will have 1 house and the other will have 2 houses.
2 houses. And they're existing, so they have their own utilities, they have their own septic, water, and everything else.
There's no shared septic between the buildings?
No.
No.
Separate access, everything.
Yeah, a million years ago, my parents, they decided that they were gonna just let us build our houses out there whenever it was all just one big chunk, and then years later, we decided, oh, wait, this ain't right.
Okay, well,
And both of these, or this property that's being divided is gonna keep the same owners. It's just to bring it into compliance with the code.
and there's no intention of splitting that 8.8 acres
No.
again. Okay. Any other questions, commissioners? No? Okay, we're gonna open this up to public comment, if any. Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move forward. I'll entertain a motion, commissioners.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve a proposed 2-lot moderate subdivision, AR 3 through 9, rezoning application submitted by Barbara Benavides, Leanne Siglin, and Kenneth Gallegos, based on the following. The proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning. No conditions. I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. No further discussion. We'll Call for the vote, Don.
Commissioner Saunders?
Aye.
Commissioner Neergard?
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch?
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carried. It was unanimous for those voting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna turn the mic off.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, can we have roll, Don?
Commissioner Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Saunders?
Here.
Commissioner Neergard?
Here.
Commissioner Lynch?
Here.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Here.
Commissioner Doyle?
Here. Okay, number 6. Okay, this is continued from March 14th meeting. Notice is hereby given the Montezuma County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for the purpose of reviewing and determining recommendations to be made to the Board of County Commissioners regarding Jane, you got me here.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
Regarding proposed high-impact special use permit application for proposed organic biochar facilities submitted by Plantera USA LLC, Agent Rolf Swinger, located at 27930 and 27736 Road T, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 19.62 and 4.48 acres respectively, more or less located west of Highway 145, south of Road T, situated in Section 19, Township 37 North, Range 15 west of the New Mexico Prime Meridian. Okay. This is a public hearing. Was the public notice published?
Because it is
Again,
continuation, that was.
continuation, okay. So everything applies, everything's applicable. We have someone on Zoom, James Gaspard.
Yes, we do.
Okay, can we have planning department findings again?
Okay, the applicant is proposing to convert all wood byproducts that are on the property into organic biochar. The surrounding properties consist of agricultural, residential, commercial, light industrial, and heavy industrial uses. The infrastructure is all in place due to the building's already being there for many, many years. The driveway access has 2 driveway accesses off of Road T that have been there for many years. And that's about it.
Okay. We have discussion, commissioners? Again. Where do we start? There were some questions brought up last meeting where the commissioners of this board asked for certain items. Have those been presented to us, Jane, Don?
Yes, they have. James, do you want to go over your 4 items that were addressed in your email? You there, James? You're going to have to unmute. Well, let's move along. I'll just read them then.
Okay.
So the first concern was noise. They had a professional noise study completed on 4/16/24 for a site location that they are moving to in Brighton, Colorado. This is with their operating plant that they have up there. They have attached a study. The noise limits at the site at Ironwood are unmitigated scenario. Second concern was dust. Wade said there was a water truck on site to mitigate dust from traffic, etc. Third concern are lights. They utilize lighting on poles that shines down toward the ground, so there is no light pollution that leaves the area. We have current locations close to expensive homes, and this was par for that area. The fourth concern was large trucks entering the site outside of regular working hours. I assume this can be addressed in the permit, but we have no need for large trucks entering or leaving the property outside of regular working hours. And this is the noise study from Barron's and Associates. Does anybody want to present this?
You have a couple minutes to go out and try to get a hold of him and see what's happening.
Well, he's right there on Zoom. You want to unmute and
He just has to unmute himself.
elaborate this, James?
Unmute. People on Zoom, you are muted.
James?
I don't know if they can hear us then. Ask to unmute. There you go.
There he is.
There we go.
Hello?
Now I hear them.
Do you hear them trying to get you unmuted?
Yeah, but I can't hear them talking. But yeah, I'm unmuted now.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He can't hear us.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, we have a question for you, James.
All right, could you please speak into the microphone? I can't hear hardly.
Do you have your microphone on, John?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the question? Don, we were talking.
Do you want to elaborate on your noise study that
There
you
you
submitted for the commission?
Elaborate, you said elaborate on the noise?
Yes, sir, the noise study.
Yeah, the noise study was done for a facility that needed to be at 55 decibels in Brighton. Your facility, my understanding, was 75 decibels. I think the noise study showed we have nothing above 57 decibels.
So the
I
noise.
mean, you know, all the machinery was, I mean, all the machinery that would be located at the Ironwood site, it's list, you know, like the shredder and everything, it was all within that noise study that was done for the facility at Brighton. So I guess the elaboration is, in Brighton, we're gonna have to put up a wall, you know, because we're 2 decibels over, but we're 18 decibels under for the Ironwood site. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mr. Gaspar, this is Jane Duncan from the Planning Department. I have a question. Are you going to be using the same equipment at the Brighton plant that you plan on doing at the Ironwood plant?
Yes, same model, the same equipment, same size. I mean, it won't be the exact same machine, but it's the same manufacturer, same equipment.
But will it be the same size as in this study?
Yes, yes. We haven't purchased the equipment for the Ironwood site, but we've identified same equipment, same model.
Thank you.
So where is that list of equipment? Is that in this study?
All the equipment we'll be using was in the noise study. Rolf should have listed the equipment in his plans, but, you know, then the noise study is all the equipment that makes noise at any of our operation. Although that diesel generator that was in the noise study, that won't be included because, you know, we're going to have electricity in Ironwood.
How can we relate this noise study, Don, to our location? I mean,
Well, you're not gonna have an exact readout. This is just showing with this plant operating at these points, what the noise level was. And then this is a exploded view of how the sound generates from the center and expands out at what levels.
with their shredder in the middle of the property?
It's right there at the red dot.
Okay. There's the shredder, and there's the property line, all the way around the square?
Yeah, the noise study demonstrates how far the noise drops off with the distance away from the machinery.
Right. Can you go back to that other map you have where the noise is dropping off?
The colored one?
Yeah, the colored one.
Okay.
So to the.
And the shredder, just so you know, the shredder doesn't operate continuously. The shredder will only operate an hour or two on average a day. So in some days it doesn't operate because you just, but as long as you have a supply of trees and stuff to go through, it goes through pretty quick.
If I look at the left side of this map, is just off this map or just beginning on the edge of that map, is that where that residential community is?
This is actually not this well.
Is it in here?
This is in Brighton.
This is in Brighton.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
this
is in
So
Brighton.
do we have something like this superimposed over this planned site?
No, we don't.
No.
That would be
That would be
helpful.
very helpful, yeah, so we know what that looks like, yeah.
Well, so if you
Why
look,
don't we
if
have
you look
that?
at the scale and you look at the yellow that's 60 to 65, it's roughly 500 feet diameter. Maybe 600 feet. The light yellow to green, 55 to 60, would be roughly a 12 to 1,400 foot diameter.
That's 400?
Not quite 400, maybe 3, I don't know.
Yeah, without this superimposed on the property that we're looking at, how do we know what the noise level's gonna be, where the shredder's proposed? Did you also not say, Don, that the shredder could be relocated, or there was a thought to be relocated?
We figured that if it was too noisy, like if we started up, we got the high impact permit, and it was too noisy where we have it placed right now, that we'd take it on the other side of the building and use it there if it happened to be, because there's no test, excuse me, no way to test it on site right now.
Well, yeah,
So we probably definitely plan to keep it below the noise levels that we're.
And they're gonna have to meet the requirements for the noise anyway.
Correct.
I mean.
Right, so this,
if
yeah,
they-
this is
If they put
just,
the shredder up by the fence and it's too loud, then they're gonna start getting fined.
Right.
And so they're gonna have to move it or do something else with it, so.
Correct.
This is just showing that their equipment is meeting the decibels.
Right, so, yeah, they're not proposing in the high impact permit to exceed any noise threshold standards. So that means they're gonna meet those conditions all hours of the day,
Right.
Okay,
no matter
Have to.
how many pieces of equipment or what that equipment is.
okay, so, all we have to go on then is neighbors' complaints. We cannot request that once you start up operation, if it's approved, that a noise study be done at this location, at our location?
Well, I'm guessing if there's some type of complaints that I think you have to get a study done, so.
That's what I'm saying, if we have to
Yeah.
wait for a complaint, then an official complaint.
Right. Unless they're not complaining.
That's almost guaranteed.
And yeah, and you can buy the noise level meters. I've actually got a couple from Prior that you can measure them from 1 foot to 500 yards.
Okay. Okay. And the hours of operation are going to be?
Well, the burners will probably run like 24 hours, but they only plan to do processing like from 7:37 to 5.
7
5
a.m. to
the
5
latest
p.m.?
On the shredder itself.
Okay, so the operation then 7 to 5, 8 hours. 7 days a week, 5 days a week?
For the, 5 days a week.
5 days a
Will be
week.
plenty for the generation of the fuel for the.
Monday through Friday? Correct? Okay.
We figured any noise levels or anything, I mean, if we're given the high impact permit, that if there's anything above the impact, definitely take it away just as easy as
Yeah.
you give it to us, right?
Yeah.
So our plan is to be good neighbors, try to get along with the folks this time, rather than what Ironwood did before, and try to make a community win-win for everybody.
Okay, and the existing slag piles that are there right now, that's primary focus?
That's the first thing that.
First thing that's gonna go.
get rid of, which will take very little time from what I understand.
What's very little time?
Well, they say it'd take probably 90 days to get the equipment, and I think less than 30 days to use the material that's on site there.
Oh, 30 days only.
Because we were given 13 months.
Yeah, that was on, if they did a different type of burner before, before James got involved, that was the first thing that I believe he gave you.
Correct.
It's a lot different system, and James can heat it up in no time at all. I don't have the exact amount.
Other questions, commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question related to emissions and limitations and record keeping on that. You say that the applicant maintains their own records and have to provide them
To the
upon
state.
request,
To
right?
the state, I think they do it on a monthly basis.
I don't know. Well, you think that, or do they?
That'd be a question for James. I know that they have to monitor it, but James would have to answer that one.
Yeah, if you have a question for me, if somebody could speak into the mic, I heard Wade say something about,
Can you hear me, James?
yes.
So when you monitor the air pollution, I guess you'd call it, and you give that to the state, is that like on a monthly? How do you give that to the state? How is it given and monitored?
What we do is the testing is once every 2 years, over 3 days, and it's about a $50,000 test. They come out, they monitor the pollution for 3 days, and then that's reported to the state. And as long as we maintain the same temperatures in our equipment, that's what we monitor is the temperatures, and the temperatures have to be kept the same temperatures, but the actual testing of the pollution is once every 2 years.
And when is,
Would I understand that you're not actually measuring the emissions?
I'm sorry?
Are you monitoring the emissions on a basis, or is it only solely on the testing every 2 years? How do you know when you're out of, how do you know if you're out of compliance?
The actual measurement of the emissions is during that test every 2 years. What's monitored is the conditions. We have to maintain the same conditions in the equipment. That's continuously monitored throughout the 24 hours. And so that's the way that works.
And if you're out of compliance, what happens at that point? Or how long can you be out of compliance, do you know?
8 minutes. Yeah, if you're out of compliance, 8 minutes, you have to shut down.
and when is the first state test required? Is it at startup? Is it a month after? When is the first test required?
When is the first test required? Is it, do you do a full test before you start up, or once you get started, or how does that work?
Well, okay, that's going to be up to CDPHE. Usually what they require is within 6 months, but that's really just part of the permit application, and whatever they decide is what we have to do. But usually they let you get operational, and then you have to do your first test, because we've got data from a lot of other locations that they've approved. So, but, you know, they may even require us to do the test before we start operations. It's whatever they feel like that day, it seems, when they work the permit.
In the past, it's always been during startup in my previous lives, but that wasn't here in Colorado.
And we keep within a synthetic minor permit, just so you know. It's not a Title V, it's not a major emitter, it's just the lowest level of air permit is what we get.
And do you have a number of vehicles that are going to be out there?
He explained it last time. I'm not sure exactly what it was. I think there was a couple loaders and I think there was like 3 or 4 vehicles that he said. I think there was 2 loaders and a truck unloader for the timber coming in, and then like a forklift, I believe. I think there was like 4 items.
Okay.
All the equipment is also, all the emissions from the diesel equipment is also included in the permit.
And obviously a water truck, right? Yep. So that'll be on site.
It's still there sitting waiting.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this, I'm sorry I missed the last meeting. I guess I missed all the public comment as well. But if I look at the original application here, I'm looking at emission limitations and records. And it says emission of air pollutants must not exceed, and then there's a table below. Records, monthly records of the actual emission rates must be maintained. But I just heard that they're not maintained. We're maintaining records on the equipment with the assumption that the parameters would then be met.
Yeah, I think what he was trying to say is, so they do the testing, and you got to stay within that limit of the test that they do. And if you get outside of that limit at any time, you have to shut down within 6 or 8 minutes, I believe. Yeah. Which is all under permit under the state of Colorado.
Right. How dangerous is something like nitrous oxide? Is that dangerous to a human being?
Yes, how dangerous is nitrous oxide, James? I'm not sure.
Yes, come again?
Yes.
He's asking a question, how dangerous is the nitrous oxide? And I'm not sure the questioning, I guess.
Yeah, it's thermal NOx. What happens is we break down, there's 4 different kinds of NOx, not to get too scientific, but what happens is we break everything down to elemental molecules because our emission control stacks are so hot, but then some of the nitrogen and oxygen fuses back together. So it's NOx, it's not nitrous oxide, but either way, it's thermal NOx. It's like what comes out of your car, the exhaust is NOx.
Right.
This is thermal NOx, where when it cools off, it separates back off, but I'm regulated off the tip of the stack. So, it is what it is. So that's what picks up there. But then once it cools down, the thermal NOx separates out again to nitrogen and oxygen. But we're regulated off the tip of the stack, so that's what we're limited to.
Right.
It's not like what comes out the tailpipe of your car.
I mean, it's listed on the application as NO small x. I think that's nitrous oxide, right?
I think that, from what I understand, the.
Nitrous oxide is NO2. We're NOx.
And from what I understand in the permit, from what I've read and heard, that the air going out is actually as clean as they're going in. Is the same as going out, if not cleaner, by the time it gets burnt out.
To give you an idea of how clean the air is out of our emission stacks, we have to run a diesel generator for electricity at one of our facilities, and the diesel generator is dirtier than 10 stacks combined.
So NOx, the X represents a place setting for different numbers. So it could be NO2, NO3, whatever. It represents more than one molecule. The X is just a placekeeper for the number of oxygen that binds with nitrogen. So there's a group of NOx, a group of NO molecules, and the X is just the number of oxygens that are bound to the nitrogen.
Yeah, if it was anything bad coming out, the state would definitely not give you the permit to do so.
So can I ask this group a question? After the last meeting, the items that you asked to bring back were the ones that would bring it into conformity with the code. Those were the areas of concern?
There were areas of concern.
Okay.
From the public comment, because all the neighbors were wanting noise levels, dust levels.
They wanted a list of the equipment and all that.
Yeah, they wanted to know, the hours of operation and things like that.
Okay.
That was the reason for us coming back.
So if
that
those
we
are
could do-
satisfied, I mean, the way that you all left it, because I was also out.
Right.
I mean, is that, if those conditions were satisfied, were you all satisfied? I mean,
Well,
I'm trying to understand how we're getting down in the weeds. I know you were out as well with the chemistry.
Because the chemical guy understands all the
I
molecules.
know you know.
He knows, we don't.
It's over my head. So one of the things we did ask for, Jane, correct, was a list of equipment, not just 2 pieces of truck or 2 trucks, something like that, but specifics.
I didn't get that
Yeah.
from the questions that Don said that we needed to get.
Well,
That wasn't on the list.
The other thing is, he actually told us that he didn't know which equipment they were gonna use, but that they were gonna try to use the same equipment as this facility. And now he's saying they're gonna use the same equipment.
and what are those pieces of equipment? What,
That's a good question,
yeah,
but
10-ton truck, 5-ton truck?
Right, so, I mean, if they have 5 or 25 pieces of equipment, it's still the same dust control and it's still the same noise
Well,
threshold.
it's
that-
gonna be the
that's-
same noise, it's gonna be.
Yeah, noise, again, if you're gonna have 2 pieces of equipment, 5 pieces of equipment, it's not gonna be as dusty or noisy as 25 pieces.
But they have to stay within the thresholds.
True, understand that, yeah.
So the questions was more for information. A list of equipment is not part of the land use code, but it's,
It was more for us to make our decision, you know,
Correct.
as far as noise and things like that, so, I mean, we can't.
it's
I
just
don't think
to
we
get
can-
the realization and the
we
impact
can't
of what's
hold them
operating.
to Going and getting a, you know, a John Deere 580 loader,
Mhm.
and they end up with a cat, you know, I mean.
Sure, yep.
It
That
it
makes
still is
sense.
gonna have to meet the requirements of the noise, so.
100%, we'll have to meet the requirements regardless of,
Exactly.
The amount or what it is. okay.
right.
Okay, I get that now.
And we plan on whatever it takes, like we said, if the piece of machine on one side doesn't work, we'll take it on the other side of the building. We don't want to have the neighbors sitting there complaining as well. We'd like to accommodate as much as possible.
What were some of the other types of things that people brought up that, I mean, has everything been satisfied?
Their concerns were lights, you know, thinking that they were gonna put light towers out, things like that, they've addressed that,
Okay.
you know, yeah,
Dust,
noise.
traffic, dust, traffic, noise, so
Yeah, the noise, traffic.
all the, everything's checked. Jason's shaking his
Yeah, I
head.
agree, yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you.
The public had no concern on particulate matters?
No. They sat next to a plywood plant, do you know what the emissions were from that? Any ideas? It was crazy.
Yeah, with that wigwam burner out there, that was huge.
That thing, yeah, when that thing
Yeah.
was going, that was crazy.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I guess I'm saying how long I've been around the area too. It was.
Definitely have to meet the Clean Air Act
Right.
for this application.
And the number of burners hasn't changed? We're
No.
still at was it
I think
40?
it was
40?
30 to start,
30.
10 to start and 30.
30 at the end. Later, they may, like he said, he may come back and we could do up to 120 and still be behind underneath the Air Act, but we're not asking for that. We're just asking for the 30 at this time.
And just to clarify, there's a monitor sensor on each stack of
Yeah.
each
That's
pot.
all. Yeah, that I do know, because you need that for the permit.
Thanks.
If I remember correctly, the discussion around the equipment was that at the time, we didn't know if the equipment would be the burning equipment, the equipment that's being monitored and tested, would be the same as ones that they had used before. I think that was the discussion was, well, is it going to be like it or is it going to be the
No,
same?
Those ones are 100% the same. James is the inventor of the equipment and doing the exact same, 100%.
Okay. Well, again, my big concerns were the noise and the dust. And if you can mitigate those, then that should work.
Yep.
Well, they're gonna have to, I mean.
Yep,
you know,
that'll be
this-
that'll be
this
the
is
complaints
us
that'll be
that
coming.
Like I said, I'd like to be at a win-win with the people around, and
Yeah, I mean-
I don't want that complaining every 5 minutes. That's not fun for anybody.
Right. Okay, anything else? Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Don, but there will be no public comment, right?
Correct.
We-
That was.
We closed it last
That was
meeting.
closed.
Okay, so Jason,
Correct.
you have something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just gonna make a motion.
Good, go for it.
All right, I'll make a motion to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners to approve a proposed high-impact special use permit application for the proposed organic biochar facility submitted by Palaterra USA LLC and agent Ralph Schwenger based on the following. Proposed use is in conformity with the code. The proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on the property in the area, and public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with proposed zoning. And the conditions I have is that there won't be any violations of dust, light, or noise.
Abide to the thresholds, okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Is it light, noise, and dust?
Yeah, those are the ones that the community brought up.
I'll second.
Ted? Okay, we have a motion and a second. No further discussion. I'll call for the vote, Doug.
Commissioner Saunders?
Aye.
Commissioner Neergard?
Aye.
Commissioner Lynch?
Aye.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Aye.
Commissioner Doyle?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Unanimous.
Thank
Good
you
luck,
very
guys.
much.
I'll be in touch with you, Wade.
Okay.
to
Thank
to
you.
schedule you for the next meeting with the BOCC.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for taking care of us.
It's been a long road, but thank you.
Yes.
Do you know when that'll be, or you just get a hold of me and let me know?
I'll have to get a hold of you because
Okay.
we have to do the same timeframe.
We have to
Okay.
do the 10-day minimum notice and the sign and the newspaper and
Yeah.
all of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Pardon? It may or may not be in June.
It won't be in
July.
June.
Be
It's
in
already
July.
the 13th.
The 10 days, the sign hanger and all that.
We have to do the 10-day notice, so it'll be in July.
To the BOCC, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, can we have roll call down?
Commissioner Hernandez?
Here.
Commissioner Saunders?
Still.
Here.
Commissioner Neergard?
Here.
Commissioner Lynch?
Here.
Commissioner Armstrong?
Here.
Commissioner Doyle?
Here.
Additional discussions?
We have
I
none.
don't have anything on the agenda. I know you had briefly talked about Mancus Rural Water and
Yes.
water. So it's, I mean, there's not a given because until we get a letter from the water company, we don't know. Within a half mile, it can change, it can vary. For some reason, they couldn't run their pressure and volume test prior to the Jones original application, and then they did, and they're like, oh, there's more there than we thought. So it's like,
Yeah, they did a pressure and volume test for Eric Ireland whenever he put in his tap, so now they say that they've got enough.
so I think it comes down to a limited crew, limited.
I mean, it's,
Well, this stems from a P&Z application that we approved, and this week, the commissioners denied it because of water.
right.
So.
Well, they denied it because
She didn't
the
purchase it.
applicant,
She didn't
the
purchase it.
applicant.
Correct,
did,
yeah.
confused
And
the
Don's
purchase.
correct. They gave her the choice. Buy it, we'll approve it, you don't, and she said no, so.
Yeah, she did not want to buy the taps
buy the
and
taps.
sell
And
the
they had to
taps with
deny
the
it.
lots, so
Really expensive.
they're not guaranteed
They're
for
not really
the
expensive,
future.
but they're not cheap.
Currently, there's pressure and water, but not
They're not
guaranteed
like
for
Montezuma Water
X
Company
amount of
where they're
units.
like 15 grand.
As more and more people get onto those
Correct.
water lines, sure. Okay, is
It's like
it possible
12
for
or
an
13,
individual
something like that, that's going up all the time.
to make that purchase
Years ago.
and hold the tap, the physical tap? Just make the purchase, hold the physical tap.
Insurance.
So
Right.
this lady could have purchased the taps, but not installed them, and then added the tap price to the property. And
Correct.
then that owner could have turned in that chip and said, okay, it's paid for, I want the
But
tap.
she did
So-
not want to
Correct.
do that.
But it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We
So there-
tried
there's a-
to
yeah,
explain
they have
that to her,
outs.
and she didn't want
Okay,
to.
they have outs.
With Mancus Rural Water, you actually buy the tap and you can put it on any property you want, basically. You own the tap.
You own the tap.
So. I don't know.
And hold it, you can hold
Oh,
it.
yeah, you can hold it and not do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then that's, okay.
Same as Montezuma Water,
Same
they're
as
pretty
Montezuma
flexible.
Water.
But if you get into the end of a line, you better get it installed if you really want to
If you're
use
the
it.
end, yeah.
If you want to use it, because otherwise you might lose it.
Yeah, even though you have it, there might not physically be
Right.
water.
Right.
And that's the biggest issue. Where I'm at, I don't know, there's probably 30 homes have been built in the last 5-6 years. Wow. I can't water my yard. I turn the sprinkler system on and it goes about that big. I put in a pump and now it goes that big. a
at the end
stand.
of a line, right?
I'm not all the way at the
All
end,
the
but
way.
yeah, I mean, you've got
Those people
40
are even worse.
40 or 50 houses on a 2-inch line.
Oh,
2-inch line, that's stupid. I have a 2-inch line going from your tap to my house. Trying
Okay.
to, it's not the greatest.
Anything else?
I've got a 6-inch line. right?
Nope, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Who's second? Oh.
Okay, motion to adjourn and seconded.
You are? Oh, When? All over the place? Yeah.
No, going to London,